The views and opinions expressed by the participants of this broadcast are their own and not necessarily shared by the sponsors, organizations, individuals, or mothers mentioned in this broadcast. It will contain topics and language unsuitable for younger listeners. Parental discretion is advised. Let's do this. You're listening to 3231 Nomad Radio.
Nomad Radio.
Let's go, you mothers. All right, it is Saturday, May 7th, 2022. How you doing, everybody? Let's do this. Boom. There we go. Hi. There are 3 seats. There is one person in one of the seats. Hello, Jody. Jody's in chat. Hi, Jody. Thank you for joining us. We did it. I'm not being a grumpy butt today. Although, I was gonna change this so it was just me on the screen, but I wanted to point out that we have 2 other seats, and I'm holding it down. I'm just saying. Somewhere in Knoxville, Tennessee, there is a pot pie getting more lovin' than me. So, which honestly, now that I say it, a pot pie sounds freaking delicious right now. So, I don't really blame, but it's just me. It is a very special episode of Nomad Live for 2 reasons. Nomad Radio's on live because, 1, we're on Facebook. We're gonna do Saturday episodes on Facebook if all goes well. If we enjoy it, I enjoy it. I enjoy being on here broadcasting to you guys all the time. But we're gonna see if we're gonna see if you enjoy it, if y'all enjoy it. But now making his way to his seat. He tried to do it subtly. He tried to do it quietly, but no.
Tried to sneak in.
That's the man right there. That's
Hello,
the
everybody.
one. That's the one, you bastard. I am Matt. That is Ben.
Hi.
And you are watching Nomad Radio live right now on
Special
Facebook Live
Mother's Day edition. 1 day early.
on 3231. We thank you very much
It's
for
Mother's
joining
Day
us.
somewhere.
It will be tomorrow for sure. A little thing to report, and hopefully I get some family on here since we're doing Facebook Live. I sure hope my family jumps on, but they may not. Who knows? Maybe they'll jump in. The great thing about Facebook is y'all can share right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
This should be the most watched episode
I hope so.
because we have the biggest presence on Facebook. We don't really have any presence on anything else but Facebook. So you would think if we're doing Facebook
We're not
Live-
doing bad on YouTube. I mean, we're getting 50 views. That's
yeah.
significant.
Do you know how far away from 0 that is?
That's at least 20 away from 0.
Yeah.
But no, we're
We're doing great, guys.
We're
Thank
not-
you so much for watching and
we're not
sharing
non-existent.
it.
We're existent.
No.
We exist.
No, I see the other plays some of your other videos have, and we're doing awesome.
But
I mean, you have some videos that have hundreds of plays and stuff, but not.
I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna call it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a little wild to say this. Maybe it's a hot take. I don't know. I'm gonna say this right now. I think this episode will be our most watched episode on Facebook.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
with
just
you.
calling it right now.
Most watched on Facebook.
I'm
I
feeling
agree.
confident about it.
Yeah. The pot pie was good, by the way.
Was it what flavor? What kind of pot pie was it?
Oh no, Nicole made it from scratch.
Chicken pot pie, turkey.
Oh,
pot
I'm
pie?
sorry, it was chicken pot pie. Yeah.
Not brand.
Yeah.
You
No,
guys,
we
I don't.
weren't.
You guys.
I
went
wouldn't
to
be
store
late for like shitty pre-made
Yeah.
frozen pot pie.
Swanson
Yeah, those
banquet.
Those 99-cent. I used to eat like 2 of those at a time, and I would just get a bunch of crackers and I'd crack them like and mix it all in a bowl and just eat it and just.
I kind of knocked Pam briefly because she bought Save-A-Lot brand,
Oh no.
but
You guys were never.
They're
that
not
poor.
bad.
Okay. If you say so.
Like the
my Popeye had mushrooms in it. Yes, it did.
Marie Callender with mushrooms. Well, Marie Callender's probably one of the best ones out there. Like the
best cheap variety.
Pam loved cheap.
She loved cheap prepackaged foods. I think that might have been
frozen
what did her
pizzas.
in. Yeah.
Frozen
Yeah.
pizzas, especially. No, I think one of the things that I bugged her about the most was the fact that she. Hold on a second. I'm remembering the smile on her face, the guilty smile on her face. She would get honey buns.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Prepackaged honey buns.
Guilty
right?
of honey buns too. Yeah.
But she would keep them in the car.
Ooh.
Right?
So she
Because
eat warm car honey buns?
wrapped in plastic.
Wrapped.
She would say, "No, the sun warms them up." Like,
yeah, she's right. They did.
like they're delicious. I'm like, all that plastic you're eating. Well,
yeah.
But, oops.
Little Debbie's for the win, dude. Did we talk about this on Saturday? How expensive Little Debbie's are? They're like
Yeah, you did.
$2.60. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Just making sure, Dave. I didn't know if you were doing like a throwback joke to Saturday or not. Wednesday. Today's Saturday. The response we got from Wednesday's show was absolutely amazing.
I was so proud of that. What a great day.
Yeah, everybody who was in the chat with us and people who watched the replays. Some people said that was the best show we'd ever done. And Carrie was the best guest we ever had. But we haven't. I mean, he was a good guest.
I mean, I don't know. Abby was pretty good.
Abby was pretty good. The cat head. Yeah.
Cabigale.
Cabigale.
Abby
She
Cat.
asked if she could come back on the show, and I said, no, everybody else has to have an opportunity to be
I
on the
would
show
love her
first.
back on the show.
Yeah.
But she has to. We'll find her in the we'll find her in the
I
rotation.
said Nicole has to be on the show before you can come back on the show.
Well, that's one of the things that I was wondering as well, because you tagged Nicole, and I'm like, oh, did you ask her? If she
No,
wanted?
that was just shameless promotion. I was going to tag a whole bunch of other people, but I didn't want anybody to get upset with me. And I'm like, if she's going to be upset with me, that's nothing new. I could deal with that.
If that's what gets people upset with you on Facebook,
It's Carrie with a K.
Kerry.
Yeah. Matt was supposed to update the video with his information. It might not have happened.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As soon as
I
you
look so different between what I'm staring at in the monitor and my phone. I'm much more
sharp,
no, just the color. Like I'm more orange.
more orange.
Well, that's what Andrew had said. He's like, it doesn't matter what you're calibrating these colors to. If the
Oh yeah,
monitors
don't worry
aren't
about the monitor.
calibrated,
Yeah,
it's not.
I'm
It's not
looking
gonna be the
right
same.
now. I'm viewing you on 3 monitors,
Okay.
and 2 of them look strikingly similar.
Okay.
The one that you are when you look at OBS, you're looking at the lighter.
Nicole's not
of the
feeling
three.
good, Jody. I'm sorry.
Oh.
We will be joined by somebody.
Yeah,
but,
she got poisoned by a pot pie.
She didn't even eat any of it.
She didn't eat it?
No. She did. She was. I wore her out today. We wore her out.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, we
Family
Mother's Day
episode.
tomorrow. But
Should we
anyways.
go family? Should we go family friendly on Facebook? Nah.
Ooh.
Nah.
People who watch us don't care about family friends.
Let's get in trouble first, and then we'll go family friendly. How about that?
She'll be fine. I hope.
Yeah, would love to get Nicole on. Personally, this is without us discussing it
she'll
at
come.
all.
She'll come on.
I think she thinks that this is all just us being silly. We're just silly people. But
She could be silly too.
she can be silly as well.
Mhm.
But I mean, she tends to be on the more mature side of the 3 of us.
Yeah. Well, unlike you and I, she has a professional career, and she might
Wait
be
a minute.
concerned.
Hold on a second.
She might be concerned. Oh, there she is. There's our guest coming in. Why don't you come this
Ah.
way
Come on in, have a seat, young
and
lady.
grab. Does she even need headphones?
No.
She doesn't need headphones.
No.
All right.
We got this. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us in our guest
Oh.
chair.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
she
We're gonna have to
she's
adjust.
drinking.
Yeah, she's drinking already. All right, so
Here
we're
we
gonna
go.
have to adjust that camera. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna adjust.
We have a camera on
have a
you
camera.
right there.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's great. You might want to tilt it down a little
Oh
bit.
boy, hold on. No, it's not good.
No, it's fine.
It's fine for Bonnie.
It's fine.
There we go.
Thank you for joining us. There's a little microphone for you right there.
Yeah. See, the people at home, they can't hear you when you just talk to them. Okay. So you want
Yeah.
to keep about this
So I don't know what Ben told you, but we are live on the internet right now.
Yes.
Okay, and
It's
we're
my
doing
mom.
a special Mother's Day episode. Ben, I'll let you do the honors.
Hello, everybody. This is my mother, Bonnie Amici. First time on 3231 after 10 years of us doing 3231. Bonnie's finally on the air with us. I don't know what took us so long. We had one of the best guests sitting in the house the whole time. So we
Because
just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day, even though it's tomorrow.
we couldn't spare this amount of star power with
Yeah.
just audio.
Yeah,
have to do
no,
the
we
whole
had we
thing.
had to wait. We had to wait till we had a good video signal and stuff. We actually broadcast out of her old room, her basement on her palatial estate in Knoxville. That's where we're at.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying we were broadcasting before. I'm like, how does she
No.
get in the back?
nope. Oh,
Thank-
Jody says hello, Bonnie.
Jody.
Jody was a friend of mine. She lived in Central Florida when I lived in South Florida, and she would come down and she would go to some of the get-togethers and the parties that they used to have. Remember when I would like leave on a Friday and come back on Sunday when I was like 15,
Yes.
and you wouldn't know where I was, but you knew I was with people from the computer? Yeah, she was one of those people, so she was an accessory to all sorts of
Well,
debauchery.
let me
No,
take
Jody was a good person.
let me take this
She still is a
opportunity to
good
say
person.
Happy Mother's Day as well. Appreciate that very much. I appreciate what you've created.
Which she gave birth to.
Yeah, we can blame you. I mean, we can thank you for that.
Jody says I was in good hands. Yeah, we could take that all sorts of ways. Yeah.
So what? This is an opportunity. I'm looking forward to this. This is an opportunity to do one of two things. Either you and I are going to have a really nice conversation, or people are going to see how Ben treats you when you and I try
I
to have
thought
a nice
about that.
conversation.
I thought about that.
Because there's a habit within this whole household. Anytime I try to speak to one person, 3 other people speak for that person. It happens with when like it happens when I speak to the daughters. It happens when I speak to the animals.
Yes.
But so we're gonna make sure that this happens properly. Amici, Ameche. Okay. And you are the people are like, wait a minute, somebody may be.
That
wait a
name
minute,
sounds familiar.
yeah. You are the daughter of Don Amici, actor and future digitally rendered Sith, according to Ben. If we can make that happen,
He might be in the new Star Wars movies. We're trying to work on that.
they're making awesome. They're doing awesome things with technology these days, where they can take people's faces and put them on top of other actors and make them look real and amazing. So we were just talking about Star Wars on Wednesday, and Ben was saying that it would be great to get Don back to do another role as a Jedi. He said, I said a Sith, which is a bad guy Jedi. Because I
Did
think
Don ever play any
did he ever
bad
play a
guys?
villain?
I don't ever remember him
No.
doing that. But
I don't
he
think
may
you-
have done that in the days of radio.
In their
Oh,
days of radio,
okay.
sure.
I don't think
Yeah.
I would have been born yet.
Because he's so charismatic, and of course, in the roles that anybody can look up as IMDb, or anybody can go online, his wiki page or what have you, and see the movies that he's been in. I haven't even bothered to look it up to get his list. I'm like, he's out there. He's like,
You can't hear Bonnie. Bonnie, why don't you try talking more into the mic?
Oh, you know why?
Why? Do you not have her mic
I
on
didn't
mute?
have her mic on.
Thank you, Jody.
I am a dumb.
All right.
All right.
You know, another possibility, he did those 2 movies in Germany when I was in the 3rd or 4th grade, and maybe he played bad guys in those.
Okay.
I don't remember what those movies were.
Because he's, like I was saying, he was very charismatic
Mm-hmm.
and could definitely leading man role, but for
Oh,
sure.
he
Yes,
was a leading
lots
man.
of that.
Lots of
Yeah.
leading men role.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, I will mention a couple of them that immediately come to mind. Of course, Cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
A few of them. Cocoon.
Trading Places.
Trading Places. I don't. Yeah.
Well, he
like,
kind of played a bad guy in Trading Places.
yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
I mean, he used the N word,
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
right?
and
Am I imagining
and
it?
also he played Thomas Edison.
no, Alexander Graham Bell.
Alexander Graham Bell. I couldn't.
But
I'm sorry.
he was a good guy.
But
in
he was
that.
a good guy in that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I said Thomas Edison, because
Thomas Edison was not a good guy.
Thomas Edison was not a good guy. But
Yeah.
Alexander Graham Bell. I apologize.
Mhm.
So much so that the word amici was used as a slang for the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
So because he was so recognized as Alexander Graham Bell. That's so amazing. That's so
Yeah.
cool. But you have countless stories, I'm sure, that you could tell us about Don. What I'd like to know is, what's the story with Ben? Like, you gave birth.
How do you turn out this way?
Yeah, you
What-
gave
what
birth
did
to
you
this
not
young man.
do properly?
What was your situation like? Because no, he's the youngest of
Yes.
3 boys, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was supposed to be a girl. I think that's probably
Hey,
where we'll start.
I was supposed to be as well.
What
Like,
was my name supposed to be?
I was
And
the
didn't you
last
have
one.
ultrasounds back then, or did you not know until?
They didn't do ultrasounds like they do now. They may have done one at the beginning, but I don't. It's
So
nothing
did you really
like.
think I was going to be a girl, or was that just stuff that Doug and Danny told me to make fun of me?
Yes, that was probably stuff they said.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So you knew
did-
I was going
Did
to be
you
a boy.
hope? Did you hope
yes,
to have a girl?
yes. I wanted to have one girl, but
So how soon did I disappoint you? Like immediately?
Immediately.
Immediately. So
well,
like,
it was much easier for me though because I had all boys' clothing.
True.
yeah, I had hand-me-downs my whole life.
Yes.
Yeah, this is true.
I suppose that would
would
because
definitely
I'm the
work out
youngest
better.
of 5 boys, and each time my mom really wanted to have a girl, was hoping for one girl,
Mhm.
and then the boys just kept coming out, and then I was the last one, and she's like, "That's it." I'm
So
doing-
when did you find out I was a boy? Like when I was born?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's still waiting for that information.
So what was my name supposed to be? Wasn't it like Beth or something? You don't even remember.
Jennifer was always a
Jennifer.
yeah.
And then
Solid name.
the story I remember was that Jerry was watching MASH, and he named me after his favorite character on MASH,
Oh.
which was Hawkeye,
Mm-hmm.
which was Benjamin Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got my name Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. That sounds true.
Jody,
Yeah.
Jody makes a very good point. You provided her with 2 lovely girls.
Thank the Lord we finally had some girls, because even Doug has a son, but it's a boy. It's not it. Bonnie's done with boys. She's had her fill.
So, what I was asking was, where were you at in your life when, like, you already had 2 sons?
Yeah, I had. We were married for maybe 6 years or so, and then we started having children, and we had Doug, and then like 2 years later we had Danny, and then 5 years later we had Ben.
Yeah.
And were you
about five.
always traveling a lot? Because it's one thing you told me
I
that you
traveled a lot before, with my father. Then once I got married, yes, Jerry moved from Cincinnati to Lexington, Kentucky, to Troy, Ohio, and then to Cleveland. But I've lived all over the world. Yeah.
I asked her the other day, I'm like, how many countries have you been to? She said, I don't know. I lost count. I'm like, could you count them up like for us? Could you do that?
Oh.
Could that be part of I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
well, it'd take a while.
that's what I'm saying. That's when you know you've traveled a lot, when like you can't remember how many countries you've been to,
Yeah, and
let
I've-
alone all the states.
I've had my fair share, certainly not your son's compared to your son, but I've had my fair share of making fun of you sometimes because when we go out to eat, you want something exotic,
Yeah.
and I for some reason you said Mongolian one time, and that like I know you meant the Mongolian grill.
Yes.
But I was thinking like at a Mongolian restaurant, and it made me laugh. So I've always stuck with that. But
You eat in a big fabric tent.
yeah, a guy just the like a flap opens up, and this big guy in furs come in with this
Yeah.
dead animal and just slaps it on the table, and it catches on fire.
We actually did get to go to like a real Mongolian grill in Jacksonville, and that's where they have the big grill where they cook everybody's food on,
And they're running around.
Yeah,
the
they go
outside
around
of
in a
your-
circle. Stop hitting the mic stand. You keep hitting the mic stand. Yeah, then they go around and around, which that's the Mongolian way of barbecue. Am I actually doing that? I'm taking my hands off the table. I'm sorry. I'm yelling at my mom, and it's me knocking me on the table. But
Yeah, I've learned. I keep my hands to my side now when we start broadcasting, just so I don't.
Well, the other thing we always joke about, I have a Michi taste.
Sure.
And that's true.
Sure.
Yeah.
And no, but that's like I said, I make fun of it, but you've traveled, you've been certain places, so you've eaten food.
Oh,
Like if we went to a German restaurant, you'd be like, "This is nothing like actual," or something along those lines. Maybe not that particular example, but
Well,
yeah.
we went to Luchow's all the time in New York City. Now, Luchow's was started, I think, in the late 1900s, and I've seen like histories of it, and it was really nice because Dee Dee and I had we could speak conversational German, and
Dee
we
Dee
could,
was my
my
mom's
sister,
Yeah, okay.
and we could read a German restaurant with no. And read the menu with no problem.
Dee Dee was her other name. That's one thing. All the kids had 3 names.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
really, I don't know, Matt, if you ever.
Oh,
knew
no,
that.
I know
They
that, yeah.
they had 3 names.
I'm from New England. Like immediately every relative is known by another name than the one they're given. So like that's There's always a. I'm trying to think of some of the ones now. Like there's. For some reason, my mind just blanks. But
Well, they had Ani names.
Yeah, Donnie, Ronnie, Tommy, Lonnie, Bonnie, and Connie.
nice.
And then we had 2 other sets of names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So like Bonnie's not even her name, or Bonnie wasn't her name. What was your other name?
Barbara Blandina, or Bones.
Bones.
Bones. Bones.
Awesome.
Bones.
Sweetie was one of my aunts, and I can't remember which aunt it was. I wish my mom was here that she could remind me of those things. But my mother is currently not feeling very well. She's in a hospital. She had pneumonia, and that was one of the things I was going to mention at the beginning of the broadcast. Is that I'd like to get my mother on here as well, but she's not feeling very well at the moment. She's
Well, if one of your brothers is there, he could FaceTime.
Well, she's been sleeping a lot, so she's
Well.
super tired. She's
He could just
exhausted.
put the phone on her.
She-
You're like, yeah, there she is. She's
No,
breathing, Matt.
She's 83 years old.
Oh,
She's
jeez.
up in Lewiston, Maine,
Okay.
and she is recovering from pneumonia.
Your mom
at
didn't
the
smoke
moment.
though,
So-
right?
No,
Okay, good.
no.
Good. At least that's one.
But
good
rest is the best thing for her. It gives
Yeah.
her body time to recuperate.
yeah,
thing. I'm gonna rag on Nicole. I kept saying about your mom getting pneumonia. She's like, yeah, but we had pneumonia. It wasn't so bad. I'm like, you're 80 years old and you got pneumonia?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like when you're 80 and you get pneumonia, you die.
yeah.
Not.
No,
Not
her health.
necessarily,
no,
but
look-
you could.
Okay.
But her health is
Jamie, can you fact check that? Do you die when you get pneumonia when
Is
you're
Jamie
80?
on with it?
No, he's busy. He's 80 away from 10,000 subscribers on TikTok.
It's amazing.
Oh boy, that is so
He's
great.
doing so
proud
cool.
of him. Yeah, the world got to see what we've been hiding away.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy for him.
Thanks, Jody.
No, thank you, Jody.
Yeah.
Just like with my mom, I'd love love to get her on here and tell some stories about stuff that's happened in the past. But if I have any family members on here that can give me an update, so the last time I heard, she was resting a lot, and I'm gonna give her a call tomorrow and wish her a happy Mother's Day. Yeah, everything's I'm naturally paranoid, and of course, like we've mentioned on previous broadcasts, I care a lot, so I'm always thinking about what may happen. But I've been assured by my brothers, I'm like everything's gonna be fine, and I'm just trying not to think the worst. But
But when you're 83 years old, or how anytime they get sick, you get worried.
of course,
When you
yeah,
get a cold,
absolutely.
you get worried.
Absolutely. And maybe that's a good point that I should make right now, that if anybody out there has a mom and they haven't talked to their mom in a little while, whether for whatever reason, life happens, you've been too busy. I know with my family, 2 of my brothers live in Florida. One of my brothers lives in Maine with where my mother lives. Another in New Hampshire. Like everybody's all over the place. We hardly communicate to each other, except once in a while I'll text my brother. We'll talk through text or a messenger of some sort. Do me a favor and do yourself a favor and connect with your family. Father's Day, Mother's Day, all this stuff that comes up, these special holidays, get a reminder to care about family and talk to them. But try to do that anyways. If you're unfortunately your mother has passed away, a sister or an aunt or
Get a Ouija board.
yeah, or just connect with family and discuss your mother, that sort of thing. But yeah, get a Ouija board. speak with a medium if you feel like it. Okay, so getting back on track here.
Do we want to talk about the last time I talked to Don? Did we do that already? I forget.
Did you? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever. No, I don't think we mentioned that.
Oh, okay. It was years after he passed away, and I felt like a premonition from him that he was okay, and that I need to stop worrying about him.
Oh, I think you and I talked about that off camera.
Off camera. Okay, I can't remember anymore.
I talked to Daddy.
Did you?
Yes. I was in a haunted house in Ocala and went on a ghost hunt with them. And one of the things is at the end, they divided us into small groups and some kind of a machine, and they asked questions, and the people that have gone to heaven will answer. And
cool.
the guy, it's interesting, the guy was high up in the police force in New York City, and he got Daddy on, and Daddy talked about baseball. Well, nobody else would have known what kind of baseball and who were his famous teams, or who were his favorite teams.
Yeah, because nobody has access to Wikipedia.
Well, not on the spot right there. Not when Don Amici's daughter shows up. You don't automatically be like, check your phone real quick in order to. But no, that's
anything's possible.
Although I know exactly, I say that, and you never know.
You never know.
But anyways, go call your mom. Except after this show, it's we got about maybe an hour of the show that we're gonna do. So set your alarm for an hour, and then once we're off the air, go call your mom. Go say hi to your mom. Say hi to your mother for me. But all right. So
do you have any famous stories about your mom? Oh, you know what? How about the one story where it's you? I don't know if you were even there. So I know it's your mom and it's your dad, and they're out to dinner with Marilyn Monroe.
Oh,
and
really?
Something happens. What? Okay, you want to tell that story, Mom?
Yeah. All of a sudden, the side seam in Marilyn's dress started to come unraveled. Well, for people who know Marilyn, she didn't wear any underwear. So my mother had to quickly take her to the bathroom, and in nicer restaurants, or nice restaurants in New York City, there was always a lady that worked in the bathroom. She handed you her towels, and as soon as Mommy and Marilyn got in there,
it was a classy joint.
Yeah, it was Toots Shores. Yeah, I think it was Toots Shores. We have the picture, Ben, of Mommy and Daddy with them.
Sure.
Joe DiMaggio was there too.
Oh yeah.
And
he was married to her
yes,
at
he
one
was
point, right?
Oh,
yeah, and the lady in the restroom with Mommy, they had to sew her back up.
Oh wow.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Silly Marilyn. And then the government killed her shortly afterwards.
Wait.
You didn't hear about that?
Never a happy moment. Can we just?
Well, she was with
I don't need to hear
the
that.
JFK brothers.
I was having
a
good.
Bobby
I'm having a good time with your mother talking about
know.
Marilyn Monroe and all these great. Like Marilyn Monroe's clothes are about to come off, and you start talking about her, the government killing,
and then she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if you people see this already, but Ben's trying to deflect. He's trying to get in control of this conversation while I'm trying to talk about Ben. and being Ben's mother. This is what I'm talking about. We're getting to the meat of it here. So okay, so you're traveling a lot, and you're
International Showtime was a big
settling
one,
down
right?
with family.
yeah. The international. Ben just brought up International Showtime. The summer of my sophomore year in high school, Daddy started International Showtime, and we went with him for about 4 months, and we traveled all around Europe, filming.
The circuses, right?
Circuses, yes.
Very cool.
Europe had, and of course we're talking 60 years ago, had a great tradition of circuses, and they would go all over the place. And it wasn't just Ringling Brothers and maybe one other kind like we have.
Right.
They had many long traditions and excellent performers. So we spent like 4 months going from one country to the other in Europe.
And was it a TV show?
Yeah, for
Okay.
5 years. But later on shows were
And he was
all
like
over
the host, right?
Yes.
He was the host, and was the host and MC of like the circus?
No, he was the host on TV. There
Okay.
was always an MC.
Okay, I don't know. I've tried to look for the stuff on YouTube, and there's clips and stuff like that, but like full episodes is hard to get.
Yeah, and then the later of the 5 years, they were going all around the world doing it to the Orient, and they were doing magic shows, anything that was interesting to
Yeah.
people.
I feel like they don't do that as much anymore because, like, I was on my way home from, actually, you know what? I didn't go to see it. I was gonna go see this new Nick Cage movie that was coming out, but instead I wasn't feeling very well, so I decided to just take a nap for a little bit. But as I'm coming home and thinking about going to the theater and going to the movies, I'm like, it seems like that the performance, like live performance, live things, aren't as, I mean, they are a big deal, but like people just consider different forms of entertainment as special.
Mhm.
Like movies now, back when you were young,
Oh.
movies were a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was if you were like a special occasion, even me, like when I was young, going to the theater, going to the movie theater, to the cinema
Mhm.
was a big deal. Now people are getting movies pumped into their phones whenever they want.
Yeah, but if you think about it this way, in those days, we only had like 3 stations. And it was when we first moved
right.
from Los Angeles to New York, it was in black and white.
Yeah.
It wasn't for a while
on
until
a small tube
oh, yes,
television,
a little tiny
yeah,
People
screen.
still had ice boxes back when my mom was a kid.
and
They would deliver ice and
and-
milk.
Mm-hmm.
your father was in radio quite a bit. I
Oh
mean,
yes,
like
that's where he started.
yeah.
He started like on off Broadway, and then he went into radio, and he was doing radio for quite a long time.
Would you say the most famous show that he did was The Bickersons?
Well, one of them, yeah.
Well, but I mean, like that's what he's. I mean, that when people think Don Amici in radio, The Bickersons is one of the.
And there was also like a variety thing that he did
Oh,
as
I'm
well.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
He was on all sorts of shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, then he went to movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so radio was the television of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything is pretty much streams that everyone has
Now
access
it's back to
every,
podcasts.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
pretty
full
much. It's
circle.
like full circle.
Yeah.
But like, I can't remember the last time I went to the theater, like to
Oh.
see a play or something like that.
Mhm.
You said that he started in Broadway, that he started on
Off
stage,
Broadway.
off
Yeah.
Broadway. But I mean, he started on stage, is what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, to your knowledge, did he have any interest in going back and doing that, or was that like
He did.
Well,
He did go back to the
that's what he
stage.
did.
Yeah.
The last couple of years of his life, he was doing plays like what do they call?
Community theater?
Yes, community
Oh,
theater.
I didn't know that. Oh,
Mhm.
that's cool.
He would be all over the United States doing different plays.
That's cool. That's
Mhm.
very cool.
On another show, we'll talk about how he was blacklisted, but we'll talk about that.
We are definitely going to do a Don Amici
Yeah, we'll do a whole show.
show. Jennifer is joining us. in
Jennifer,
chat.
that's my mom.
That is
Jennifer wanted to know who this beautiful woman was.
Bonnie Amici is
Yeah.
joining us in studio.
Yeah.
The mother of Ben Steltenkamp,
Yeah.
the gentleman to your far left, my
Yeah,
far
I'm
right.
over here, guys.
So you travel around. You're starting to settle down ish, because I know you didn't settle down. I know you still traveled. You still did a lot of stuff. Very active throughout your life. But the part is you have kids, and so you're sticking around in the Ohio area.
Yes,
Is,
mhm.
since
Between Kentucky and Ohio. Yes.
okay.
Which is where my dad's family's from.
Mm-hmm.
Northern Kentucky, Southern Ohio.
Oh.
That's where the Stelton camps have been for hundreds of years since we
Okay.
migrated from Germany.
And did you ever take your husband's name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she
yes.
changed it though.
Mhm.
You
But
just
when I
changed-
got divorced, I took my maiden name
take it back. Okay.
And and she changed her name too. Changed her first name.
Because I was still Barbara Blandina Steltenkamp,
Mhm.
and then when I
That
got,
never sounded like a good idea.
and then when I
I dig Bonnie.
when I
Bonnie's way better.
took my divorce, I had them change it to Bonnie because that's what everybody called me anyway was
Actually,
Bonnie.
may I have your permission to once in a while call you Bones? That's a great name.
Really, her brother, Don Amici Jr., is the only one who really calls her Bones.
Oh,
But-
okay.
But, I mean, she's not
I
gonna
don't
say
want to
it.
overstep. That's a great name.
I'm working on it now.
Yes.
All right. So you have Ben.
hmm
Tell us what Ben was like as a kid.
Well, I think I was probably closer to Ben than I was to the other kids because they were all older, in and out of the house a lot. Ben was more of a stay-at-home person.
Mhm.
And then when
Ben didn't have as many friends as Doug and Danny.
Oh,
not as many delinquent friends as my older sons had.
but I mean, the whole family sounds active. Like
Pardon?
like the whole family sounds active. Everybody had something to do. Everybody had somewhere
yes.
to go. Like,
and then we went to Grand Turk. And then
This is when my mother kidnapped me and took me out of the country.
we went to
fantastic.
Grand Turk and I was there 7 months. And then we went to Fort Lauderdale. And how long were we there, Ben?
We left Fort Lauderdale officially in like '02.
Okay.
So
And
know,
then we went from there up to Ocala, Florida.
yeah,
And then to then to North Carolina, and then to here.
yeah,
Cool.
That was our migration pattern. Yeah,
And when you stopped in Ocala, luckily, that's where I entered the picture.
from '02 to '16. Yeah, we were there about 14 years. That's where we got to meet Matt. About halfway through staying there. Yeah. Ben's guilty little smile. Yes, Jennifer. Yeah.
So any regrets with Ben? Anything you could think of that you're like, man, I wish I could have done that different. He turned out to be a swell guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I think I had more to do with his personality than the bigger kids.
I'm much more like Bonnie than Doug or Danny is like.
really, because you get mad at your mom a lot. Do you get mad at yourself as
Yeah.
much as you get mad at your mom?
More so. Beat myself up
Frustrated.
all the
I don't want to
time.
say mad. I'll just say
Yeah,
frustrated.
I think a lot of Jerry comes up in Ben.
Oh
Yeah.
I'll just rage sometimes and just start yelling at Abby and Izzy, and Bonnie's just like, "Oh my God, I divorced Jerry years ago," and then I hear him just go nuts, you know.
Oh, Jody is from was it Fort Lauderdale? You said that area.
So Jody lived in Central Florida, but Jody would come down and visit like her friends like a regular. I thought Jody lived down in South Florida, but no, Jody would just come and visit. But Jody was friends with all of my online geek buddies and stuff, and we would have we called them GTs, but they were get-togethers.
Yep.
And they were usually just like, somebody throwing like a really big house party and only inviting their other geek buddies from online, which worked out great because
GT stands for Geek Time.
no, get together. A get together. Yeah.
No,
we call
I'm
them
just
meetups now.
Oh,
But
yeah,
Geek
absolutely.
Time. Yeah, exactly. See, we were online before people like got online. It was like 90, 94, 95. No. So, but yeah.
I
Okay. So
probably
late
would.
94, early 95. Because when Windows 95 came out, it made it extremely easy for a regular person to get online. Before Windows 95, you had to know what you were doing or be on AOL. And like you remember, AOL gave out all those free CDs and stuff like that, and that's when like the internet got flooded with idiots because everybody could get online. And before, you had to know what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, David, we're gonna combine the two and do hashtag Geek Togethers instead of Get-Togethers or Geek Time. We'll just make it Geek
yeah.
Together.
Jody said I came up for theirs too, and I did. I would come up with some people. Orlando to Fort Lauderdale is not a quick drive. Like
Yeah.
it's a couple hours
Yeah.
and stuff. And I didn't have a driver's license, so I was always having to go with other people, which now I think is weird. Like I would not have a 15-year-old kid with a drinking issue like hanging out with me and like taking like hundreds of miles away from his house. A lot of that behavior suspect, and I'm not questioning everybody that I used to hang out. Not Jody though. Not Jody. Jody was never inappropriate.
Well, your friends, your nerdy friends, are welcome to join us anytime on the.
What
on
are the
show.
statutes of limitations of that stuff in Florida? We need to do some research. They might not want to come on the air. Might not want to.
Come into light. Show them.
Yeah.
Come to the surface.
Yeah. We're gonna do like an intervention. Yeah. David said his mailbox used to be flooded with AOL and Net Zero CDs. Oh God, Net Zero was terrible. Did you ever use that one? That was the one
Yeah.
that put an ad
Yeah.
or like a bar
Yeah.
on your screen, and you couldn't get rid of it, but you got free internet.
They for phones and for they had them for phones. Net Zero. Trying to remember.
I just had
think
the
they had phone
the
systems.
web version of it, and you could dial in, and they would give you internet service. But
Yeah.
you had that horrible bar across your screen, and this was back when like the resolution was so low.
Yep.
That bar took up a lot of your room
Yeah, a
on
lot
your
of real
screen
estate. Yeah.
compared to what we have now, which is just amazing. Fiber optic internet or
Mhm.
whatever.
Now, I told Ben that I started using computers in 1963 when I went to Georgetown because I worked registration every every time it came up. And we'd be carrying around these big white cards, and what are those called?
A punch card.
The punch cards.
Punch cards,
Yeah.
and bring them in. And of course, the computer was gigantic.
It was like a house. So that was the last year that Bonnie actually knew about computers and how to operate them successfully.
67.
67, sorry, not 63. So in 67, that was the last time. So the other day, she asked me, Ben, I'm having trouble sending an email. And I walk into the room, and she's got Google open, and she has the email address of the person in the location bar or the search bar of Google. And that's what she's trying. She's like, I've never sent an email before. And I'm like, there's no way you've never sent an email before. But
Well, if you don't do it very often, like I think,
she replies to emails.
I
She
think,
doesn't really, like,
I think the
compose it.
adage if you don't use it, you lose it. I think that actually does apply. If you don't deal with technology frequently, it's hard to pick it up.
Yeah, I say
Hold on
that to
to it.
Ben all the time. I mean, he shows me how to do something, and then I don't have to do it for 4 months, and I've completely forgotten how to do it.
And I tell her, just ask the girls. Ask Izzy.
Abby, Abby can. She does a lot. Helps me a lot.
I wouldn't doubt
Yeah.
if you could talk to Izzy too. The two of those girls are just
Oh, well,
Super
Izzy
smart.
knows how to do the
The tablet.
tablet.
yeah.
Yeah, Izzy was really upset that your van broke down because I don't know how this got lost in translation, but she thinks you're paying for us to go to Hawaii. And because your van broke down, you're not going to be able to pay for us to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, you gotta let her know.
Yeah.
I
I told
apologize.
her. She's like, okay, I want to go to Florida. And I'm like, okay, well.
I can afford that. I can't. Where I could have afforded when we went to the Monster Truck Show at that point in time, I could have afforded Hawaii for you, but no.
Yeah.
I'll have to apologize to Izzy if I can't do that.
Why did she think you were taking her to
I don't know.
Hawaii?
I don't know. We must have said something. And then she thought we were leaving like this month. She's like, oh, no, we're going in May. We're going to Hawaii in May. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
You say so. We're going, honey.
I like it. I like including Izzy into the conversations. It irritates him for one, and two, like. I think one of the coolest things that you could do is talk to kids like they're adults, and because you're getting a natural reaction from them. And I love doing that. I love getting just engaging and just seeing the reaction of someone. Like, you're actually talking to me. You actually want information. How do I do this? Like having Abby sit in that chair and us interviewing her was really fun as well. So you wouldn't consider yourself to be a geek in any way? Like there's no technology that you really got into?
sci-fi.
or-
No, I mean,
She
when
likes
I
sci-fi
worked at
stuff.
CPI, Cleveland Psychiatric Institute, I would do a lot of stuff on computer there, but it was like the programs were all set up, and I would do it. And then when I was in Ocala, I worked home health most of that time, and of course, because of Medicare, you always have to write a nursing note on every patient that you saw. So I would be able to do that,
Well, that would be work. I mean, is
Yeah.
there anything that you enjoyed doing, or what? Let me just ask, what did you enjoy doing in your free
Reading
time?
emails.
Just
reading emails with you. She likes to read, period.
Yeah, love to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big reader. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm answering for her.
I know.
need to stop.
But he's
No, it's okay.
a big reader too.
I used to be.
Yeah, I used to be into reading. I remember enjoying it when I was younger, but just ever since the computers came along, I'm just like I'm fascinated by stuff on my screen all the time. Like to communicate out with people, to anything that you want to do, you can do on a computer.
Well, I do like research on the computer, and I like there'll be stories on like Google News. I'll go through, see what's interesting, and read the stories there, and then sometimes do research on different issues. But that's like that's my whole repertoire.
Yeah, but then again, you did a lot of learning out actually going to those places and
Oh,
the
sure.
experience, all the experience that you've had. Like the internet can provide you the world, but it's not the same thing as
She's a
actually
big
being able to-
YouTube fan as well.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
likes
yeah,
to watch
big
That is true. Yeah,
incredibly stupid things on YouTube.
that's great. No, that's great. Some of the stuff that you're watching there. There were a couple. What was that?
David said it wasn't Izzy, the '96 Olympics mascot. Could have been. Was that the Olympics
She
where that
wasn't
guy,
born in '96.
that guy who had the
David,
pipe bomb in
silly.
Atlanta? Wasn't that the '96 Olympics?
The things you remember.
I remember watching it.
The pipe bomb? No, I don't remember.
I do.
But
don't
what
remember.
did Izzy have to do with
No. I think that was the I don't know what David's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Our fans are awesome. They can
The name of
they
the
can disrail me just as quickly as I could disrail myself.
the
blue
name
guy.
of the '96 Olympics mascot name was Izzy, according to David.
So Izzy's name is Isabella, and Isabella is a wonderful name, but we just don't call her Isabella. We call her Izzy 99% of the time.
I'm tempted.
Yeah, you call her Isabella when she's in
Nicole.
trouble.
Yeah. we today in the car we started because like I never called Nicole. It's always baby or something like that. But it's when I want to make a point, I'll say something and then I'll say Nicole, and then we riffed on that, and it was my full name, date of birth, my social security number. Like that's how you know you're really in trouble. Name, rank, and serial number.
The Happy Mother's Day, by the way, Nicole, and to Jennifer as well.
Yes.
The happy birthday to y'all, to all
Is
the ladies.
Nicole
out there.
on upstairs?
She just joined us in chat.
She just jumped on and
Yeah, she
said
wasn't
hello
feeling
and,
well,
and
so.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry you're not feeling well.
But she made a
let's get better.
delicious chicken pot pie.
Yes, Ben
Ooh.
was telling me about that. They enjoyed that. And Nicole didn't have any of it. That's
No.
sad.
Not yet.
She'll have some. It was big Popeye.
All right, we left some for her. That's cool.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna.
So yeah, but reading since getting though that was the thing I was going to mention because you mentioned YouTube as well. There are a couple things that you watch that I wanted to ask you about. One of them was like some of these homesteaders that are on there. That's
Yeah, I
something-
have certain ones that I really enjoy. Two guys in Florida, and then I have another one that raises exotic birds, and I watch him and his family. And
What's the one you watch that I find so annoying? He's
Which
in
one?
South Florida.
Paul? Or
No, he's not that bad. It's the other guy. It's the guy who raises like, he's got all sorts of exotic animals.
Yeah.
Exotic Animal Ranch or something like that.
Oh, I think I saw you watching one of those one time.
Oh,
Yeah.
just
I can't think
been
of
a little
it, but
bit.
his place is really interesting because at this point he has a farm section, I think an Australian section, and I mean he literally has animals from around the world, and he takes good
he's
care
a
of them.
turtle breeder. Isn't that
Yeah,
how he
his
makes
big
a lot
thing
of
is
Oh
he's-
yeah, that's the guy.
he-
Yeah, that's the guy.
But see, the difference between like the homesteading shows that Bonnie watches and the ones I watch is the ones she watches are soap operas. They're not really like about homesteading. They're about their misadventures in homesteading, and
It's like reality TV kind of a thing where they're like
it
they're
is
setting up.
completely that.
Yeah,
And I'm not even going to name a single one because I don't want to give any of them any
but
kind of.
but Ben has mentioned once a couple times that when you talk about your shows to him, you're like, oh, the other day, like you're like them personally. Oh, the other day, what's his name was yelling because of they had these problems at the household.
Ostrich got out
Yeah.
or something.
You're watching your stories.
Oh, Blake.
Blake, yeah.
Yeah, Blake's the guy down in
You're
Miami.
watching your stories. That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
problem.
Yeah, because she doesn't watch soap operas. She doesn't
No.
watch anything stupid like that. But
Did
no,
you ever watch soap operas? No.
no, she didn't.
I
But
used
she
to
was always a big sci-fi nerd. Because like
Oh.
my dad kind of liked Star Trek, but like that was like it. Like he didn't really like any like other stuff per se. But my mom was always she was always the homesteader person wanting to read about it, not actually physically do anything. But like she'd get the Mother Earth news, and then but really though, Mom, that came from your father having a farm during World War II during all the food shortages. And
Yeah,
stuff.
because we had 10 kids, and they had to have
Homestead.
a farm. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we had a cow, and we had chickens, and I think there were other animals. Of course, it was in like Beverly Hills, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
But
San-
Beverly Hills wasn't always Beverly Hills, back in
No.
that day. There
Yeah.
was still a lot of farms and countries.
but
and
I'm
stuff
sure
like
that
it's
there were a
still-
lot of people then because food rationing was a big deal. You
Yeah.
couldn't. You had these little books, and you had to tear off these little strips of paper and
For rations,
go get
yeah.
your stuff.
Charlie
and-
Sheen, Charlie Sheen owned your old house, and then his wife, ex-wife. Do you remember her?
Denise Richards. is
Yeah,
that-
Denise Richards. Yeah, she owns it. I mean, she used to own it. I don't know if she still owns it now.
Wow.
I don't
Well,
keep I don't
we-
keep up to date on who
Yeah,
lived
we
in my
had
mom's
at
old
least
home.
2 houses.
Yeah.
We had one in Santa Monica, but we weren't in the colony. We were right down in the ocean. I mean, literally, you
You
looked
could tell
out
my
the back.
mom's Italian because she talks with her hands and she keeps hitting the mics too.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
But you just look out in the backyard, and there was the Pacific Ocean. But before that, we had a house in Beverly Hills, and I can remember we had an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Wow.
Yeah, and in those days there was no fencing around. I mean, there wasn't an ordinance that you had to have fencing. So
It was survival of the fittest.
Did
If
you
you
get
fell
it?
into
I
a
was gonna
pool
say-
and died, it was that was on you.
I was gonna say, did you get any intruders or whatever?
no,
What about that time that you were like you thought Puerto Ricans were trying to kidnap you?
But that was in New York.
Okay. Oh, totally different. There's no Puerto Ricans in California.
No,
They're called Mexicans.
but Daddy had to move us out. He moved us to Iowa when that happened because initially
Wait,
he
when
didn't.
what happened? When you were almost kidnapped
New
by
York?
Puerto Ricans, or
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
Jenna.
Well, let's
Jenna
put it
joining
this
us,
way:
chat.
they were following us around,
yeah,
and initially they didn't believe us, but then my brothers were there, and they started following us, and then we were
do you think it was just they wanted to kidnap you and just hold you ransom for money?
probably.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because
That's
people were
crazy.
under this disillusion that your father made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
he did.
big movie star, sure.
Oh well, yeah, but you know what? The movie studios were screwing over actors way back then. You know,
Yeah.
Really
way bad. Yeah,
Mhm.
well,
I
that's
feel
the
like
reason
if I
why
haven't
he-
said it already, I
yeah.
feel like we need to do a Don Amici episode
Sure.
for sure.
Oh,
'cause, like,
absolutely. we can
that's
get a whole bunch of
another-
clips prepared and stuff like
yeah,
that.
that's some
I went to,
pretty
you
good
know, there's websites where you can go to find out people's net worth, and they said Don was worth $20 million.
Oh,
And it's like, okay, maybe if you adjust for inflation and like all the money he ever made in his entire life, maybe, but like not when he died.
No.
Like, no,
No.
it wasn't worth that.
If you
You know.
if you just say like the contribution he made to film and to
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
all that
But that's like what Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Jim Carrey were getting like for one movie.
Mm.
We're getting like $20 million. And then to say that he was worth that his whole career, it's like, no, actors didn't make that kind of money. They
Right.
had a salary.
but he did work pretty hard.
Yes,
oh
he
yes.
did,
I mean,
sure.
20th Century Fox was he belonged to 20th Century Fox.
Studio guy back in the day,
Yes.
studio days. Yep,
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, most
Tyrone Power, Daddy, and who was the girl?
Oh, there were so many
Okay. but-
leading dames. I don't know.
yeah,
There
there,
was a lot.
there was one female that in a lot of the movies.
They didn't
the
last
three-
real long back then.
last
The leading
what?
ladies, they didn't last
Oh,
very long.
No,
They
he,
were-
he actually had a number of, but he did all kinds of stuff. So in the different shows, he'd have different leading ladies.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of I'm trying to keep this conversation like focused in on you, but like like Don Amici is like you keep wanting to. How can you not?
He is the reason my mom is the way she is, and I am the way I am because of her.
Well,
So,
then let's do that.
There's
Let's
so many things that's like it took me up until just a few years ago that I realized that my reality is warped because my mother, who gave me the standards of what was normal, was not raised normal in the slightest.
Well, yeah, we mentioned on the show the one of the key things is reality's perception. Her perception of reality, like the world that she's seen, the things that you've seen, and like the benefit that you've had of having a famous father.
Yeah, well,
And
we lived
traveling-
in the Croydon Hotel for 5 years before we actually got an apartment on East End
That's
Avenue.
when
in New
rich
York
people
City.
would live in hotels, unlike now where poor people live in hotels.
Right.
Oh no, but there were hotels in New York City like the Plaza, etc. That they had whole sections of the Plaza and of the Croydon where people lived all the time.
Sure.
And of course, there were probably floors or sections where people came and they were there for a night or two.
And where like they have doormen and concierge and like a staff of people yeah, absolutely.
You dealt with the elevator operators.
Yeah.
You dealt with the ladies in the basement that were doing the laundry. You deal with the front desk.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's a show on Amazon Prime Video called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, it's a great
Oh
show.
yes,
Have you seen that?
yes.
Like
Yeah,
that,
I've seen some of it,
I
yeah.
see that. I think of when I think of New York, and I think of like old New York.
Mhm.
That's the
That's
time
the
that my mom. Yeah,
Catskills.
that's the time that my mom lived. I mean, that was the 50s. I
Yeah.
mean, that's when she was, growing up in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the milkman and the bread guy and the butcher and this
But
and
you
that.
see, I also know those from Iowa because periodically we would go to Iowa because that's where Mommy's family was. And actually, I think one whole year, I think when Daddy came back from Germany, we all went to Iowa and we lived in a house. And in the basement was an ice box. And I call the refrigerator the ice box.
Sure.
But that was where all the Cokes went. And the Iceman would come like twice a week and give you a big clunk of ice, and you'd put the pop and stuff all around it. And then you'd have to empty it out. And then the milkman came. He had a little thing,
like a four, it was it was like a wire
Yeah,
Yes.
like a
carton,
basket almost.
Yes.
a basket,
Hold-
yeah,
Mhm.
basket, but
and,
like four.
and he would deliver the milk, but he also bought cream, butter, and they had a regular route, and they came. I would know that much more from my grandma's house because that's how they would get those things.
I'd hear my mom would tell a lot of stories as well about living in up in New Hampshire with her brothers and sisters at with my grandparents and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm pausing a little bit because my brain keeps wanting to say her grandparents, and I'm like, no, my grandparents, her parents. So sorry about that. But yeah, like they had a dirt floor. A lot of the house was built by her father himself, and dealing with that sort of thing, like things that people just don't experience these days. But
If you're living here now, I've been going to Africa. I went like for medical missionary trips, and sometimes I would go to the homes of the people that I was taking care of. And when I first walked in, I thought, damn, that looks like the ground. And it was the ground. And then they would all sleep on, the whole family would sleep on something. There weren't beds.
So, Mom, the first time you went to Africa, it was with the Peace Corps, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then is that when you learned that there were still cannibals, but it was okay because they didn't eat white people?
I don't know.
Do you remember that?
I
that story, Mom?
remember when I was in Sierra Leone, one of the engineers from the Peace Corps took me to a village where the children had never seen a white person before, and they were actually scared. When they saw me, they ran out because they thought I was maybe a devil or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Blanco Diablo.
yeah.
Yeah, White Devil. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So
How many times have you been to Africa?
5 times.
5 times? Oh, okay. All right. We had to finally put a stop to it, though, Matt, because she's just like, she falls all the time. And they're like, you're not going back to Africa.
Well,
you're not going. You're going to fall and die in Uganda.
yeah, it's
You're
at
not
some
gonna go
at some
anywhere.
point
gotta
point
draw the
you gotta yeah.
And they were making her pay. She was paying to go over there to help people. Like, no, if you're going to go over and volunteer all your labor, you shouldn't have to pay to do
Sometimes
that.
the mind doesn't get what the body doesn't get what the mind's about.
Well, this was sponsored by a church.
Yeah.
And we would
The
have
richest organization in the world, the Catholic
Yeah.
Church, they have jets. They could have flown
but
you there.
we would have a group, maybe up to 20 people, and they were all going there to do specific jobs. We had engineers there who were starting to wire the whole compound. We had doctors, nurses, dentists, teachers or people who would set up the whole computer system in the high school. When you volunteered to do this, you had a specific job that you were going to be there. And when you were there, like for 2 weeks, each time I would be, a car would come and pick me up and take me to our hospital, which
You never
was,
told everybody what you did, though. Oh, no, I guess you
Yeah,
did.
was
You
it
were
with
nursing.
kids?
huh?
Well,
no, nursing.
It was all
Nursing.
nursing stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know you mentioned hanging out a lot with kids. So was that a big part of it as well? Like
Well, the kids, I would more hang around when I was back home. When I was at the hospital, we would maybe have 200 patients to take care of. So it was really, we didn't have much chance other than I'd ooh and ah over babies or
What
something
year
like
did
that.
you become a nurse for the first time?
67.
67. And did you get right into psychiatric care, or did you mess around with other stuff?
No, I actually worked at the orthogenic school in Chicago.
What's
which was
orthogenics for
it's
all of us
It's where
non-medical
Bruno Bettelheim started his school for severely emotionally disturbed children.
Okay.
And I worked there, and then I worked in another facility where he consulted. But then I took about
so
10
nursing in a mental capacity.
Yes, which I've done off and on the whole time. But then for about, 5-10 years, I was a teacher for emotionally disturbed children. And that was better in terms of I had kids and
It's
I
just
would...
by coincidence that all 3 of her children were also
What?
emotionally
Uh,
scarred.
It would be nice because I would work when the school year was in session, and like I'd have the summers off, and I had pretty much the same hours as the kids. I could send them off to school and then go to my classroom and teach.
Any medical, like physical medical nursing, or was it mostly just
The home health.
psychiatric?
The home health was.
The home health was psychiatric home health, but I did deal a lot with common medical problems like people who have hypertension, a lot of diabetics.
She got all the patients that were difficult to work with due to their mental illness. So she would do. She would get a lot of patients that the other nurses would refuse to take care of because of their mental state. And Bonnie was like,
Oh, so
I'll
being
take
able
care
to
of mine."
deal with one could help you move on.
Yeah, a
to the
lot
other,
of nurses do not like psych.
Oh, I wonder why. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of wild.
Mhm. And that bled into me, take her being in mental health and always taking care of people,
And I would take them. They would go sometimes with
I
me.
have wonderful memories of going to the State Psychiatric Institute, going in the basement and seeing the rubber rooms and going exploring the tunnels with the mob. What were they called? The Goon Squad, Mom?
Oh yeah.
The Goon Squad was just this big collection of like huge dudes. And anytime there was a problem on any of the units,
On nights. This is only on nights.
Only on nights, yeah, because during the day they didn't have any problems.
Well, I could. So
Thank you, Jody.
on one hand, you could talk about the trauma that you might face as a young kid trying to process that stuff, but to process that stuff and get on the other side of it, I mean, that's helped you out quite a bit in dealing with people. What you've experienced as well in your own getting into that field.
Well, especially like that, having to help people, even if it means being harmed by them. The amount of times that I was physically assaulted, punched, kicked, choked out. When I worked on the crisis unit, I got into an altercation with a patient, and they got their legs wrapped around my neck and choked me out. And I had to go to the emergency room to get checked out and everything. Well, they called Nicole and tell me that I had been strangled, like past tense. I mean, could you have thought of better words to say to, the wife or whatever?
Or at least add something. Yeah.
Like, he's fine, by the way,
Yeah.
but, he's in the emergency room because he was choked out. Yeah.
Your husband is fine. However,
But amazingly enough, all the years in psychiatric care, Bonnie was never attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost count how many times so either I wasn't very good or it was just because I had a different job. She was always the nurse. I was always the orderly / tech that was ordered into
were
the room.
you kind of a thug? Did you kind of like make sure they knew who was boss? And
No,
they
no,
would mess
no.
with you?
I was always somebody who was very nice to everybody, and even the people who were very psychotic picked up on the fact that
So
I
you were
was
just mean, you were
empathetic.
just mean to your kids, not to the patients, just to your
No, I
kids.
wasn't mean to them.
She wasn't. No, neglect isn't being mean.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! I'm making jokes. And you're talking about neglect. Stop it.
You are a man, Nicole says. I am. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. You've seen
You're
the proof
you're
of it.
the man.
Oh, no, it says you are a man.
No, I'm telling you.
Oh, you're okay.
You're the man.
All right, yeah. But no, definitely like all the jobs that I've ever worked in the whole 25 years of working, it's always been positions where I had to be helping people. Like there's no, even like retail, you're still helping somebody, whether it was marketing or mental health. Being a man makes a difference when work. Oh, I see what she's
True,
saying.
true.
Most people, even when they're crazy, aren't going to attack a woman. Versus, they'll gladly attack a man.
Nice to
because
know.
he's a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, the other thing is that at least that point in time, they would admit drug addicts to psych units, which I felt I didn't like that at all.
True.
I felt drug addicts need to be on one unit where it was very therapeutic for them. But then you
Well, yeah, they have certainly different needs.
Exactly.
Or like an extra level of needs.
An extra level of
care.
needs, yeah, because most of them are dually diagnosed. There's very few drug addicts that don't have mental health issues, depression, anxiety, suffer from abuse. And I mean, like when I worked, Bonnie got a job as a director of a place in Ocala, and she got me hired on into administration to help rewrite their policies and procedures. And I mean, we had these kids, and you read their case files, and you're like, oh my God, like, how's this kid not going to turn into a total psychopath serial killer? Looking at their history, and I mean, it's terrible. The worst is we had oh Jesus, Bonnie, calm down. We had
Today, ladies and gentlemen, on this special episode, we have the Bonnie Amici drinking game.
Yeah.
Anytime Bonnie smacks the microphone, go ahead and take a drink. I'll do it
Yeah.
right now.
I got it.
yeah. We had a member of the staff she was a custodian in housekeeping, and she took one of the kids home like legally, like adopted him, and he murdered her and cut her into little pieces and burned her in the fire in the backyard. And like, this is a kid I took care of. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's sitting. I think I don't know if he's in death row or whatever, but I mean, like, he's in a prison.
Wow.
You know, like I can understand if you murder somebody. Like, I can understand scenarios where you'd be like, oh, you took somebody's life. But like, the lady who adopts you out of like a mental institution for children, like, that's the woman you murdered.
All
But I
right.
mean, I wouldn't be alone when I thought about murdering my own mom. So
Your mom took people home.
she did take people home. Yeah, we could talk about that, Mom. How many mental patients did you take home from the hospital?
Well, that was only
I really don't want this to be. I don't want this to be an interrogation.
no,
He's gonna pick
how many
on
times
you.
did that happen, though? I mean, it happened quite
maybe
often.
2 or 3.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
They
She
were
had this
people
one
who in
guy.
day treatment.
Oh, okay. And they couldn't find
Yeah.
places to live. Well,
The
Brian was my favorite.
The question I really want to know is: all your time dealing with mentally unstable people, has that helped you with your son? Have you find that experience helps you deal with that man that's sitting right next to you right
Absolutely.
there?
Absolutely.
He may think so. I don't know. I don't see him as that big a problem.
No.
Well, it's all compared.
Yes,
compared
yes.
to who? You
Mhm.
know? Yeah, like I talked about my
I'm
own father saying
joking,
he
but-
wasn't a very good dad, but it's like compared to who? Because like he wasn't a very good dad, but there's all sorts of guys. If
Yeah,
you compared
you're-
him to, he was fantastic.
Right,
You
you
know?
meant- you were
he
talking
spent
about that.
time with us. He took us to movies. He fed us. You know what I mean? Like, that's great compared to some people. You know?
Oh, by the way, yeah, I do want to mention then, Jenna, happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Yeah.
We fortunately with our community, we do have a lot of moms
We do.
in our community that
Lots
we
of
love so
women's.
much. I don't know if I said. I'm pretty sure I said Happy Mother's Day to Jennifer. I don't know if she's still watching or not, but thank you very much. And by the way, if you guys want to, please share the broadcast. Always nice to share, have our friends share with their friends as well.
Are we going to be able to watch this on YouTube?
Yeah.
The-
No.
Facebook.
No, it's
Oh.
it's on Facebook.
This is we're on Facebook Live right now, so people can jump on.
We wanted to do something different for Saturdays. We've been doing very good on YouTube, but we wanted to just see how it would go.
Yeah, the Facebook is a. I mean, so far so good. I'm loving the episode, and it's not a big.
Do you hear the whole thing and see the picture too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You'll be
Oh,
the audio and video playback, and then the only thing that you won't be able to see
Is the
on the
chat.
video itself is the chat, but they stay as comments,
Oh,
so you'll
okay.
be able to read all the comments and stuff.
Mhm.
And of course, the cool part about it is the interaction that we have, that we can mention everybody at what particular time
Mhm.
they send the message. So, yeah, I'm joking half the time that I'm asking these questions about Ben because
know.
he's awesome. And
I
love
know,
him so
and I have so many stories that I could bring up, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to like embarrass Bonnie, but yeah,
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
while we have you here and I can talk to you about, like as much as I'm running out of pick on Ben through you, comments, questions, but and I realize that, like I said, I keep wanting to mention Don and talk about his career as well. But what I can do is I can talk about you and your childhood and what you've experienced. So the first thing I want to ask is, of all the places that you've lived, where do you like the most? Where do you miss the most? New York sounds awesome, but
Yeah, but
Beverly
it's
Hills-
not so awesome now. The
No.
crime rate is terrible.
at the time you're talking about what time period?
Yeah, we're talking in the
50s?
50s. But then it was really good. I mean, Dee Dee, my sister and I would ride the public bus. We'd walk to the bus stop, take the bus up, and
Until
would-
those Puerto
we would-
Ricans.
we would. And I don't know they were Puerto Rican. I know that they were
Oh.
Spanish speaking. But
They could have
at
been
that-
Cubans. They could have
Well-
been Fidel's men.
Yeah, but in the early 50s, I think there were a lot of people who came from Puerto Rico. So
So pretty much right on the money when I talked about Mrs. Maisel. We're talking pretty much
Yeah.
right on the money at
yeah,
that time.
well, but
period.
Mrs. Maisel is further up. Isn't she in the Catskills?
Oh, she
Well,
was. She
sh-
went.
they
all
went
over.
to the
They
Catskills.
went to the Catskills.
Okay.
She
But
wasn't
but no,
from
it
there.
took,
She was from.
a lot of it took place in New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I know, I don't know how historically accurate they
It's
really
not.
try to
It's
pay
not.
attention
It's
to
close to,
Mhm.
but
But just
her character didn't really exist.
well, no, but like it borrows generously, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure how historically accurate New York would be for
Mhm.
what for what's going on with them. But it's still kind of fun to see that sort of thing. Like you see shows like Mad Men and stuff like that deal with period the time period like
Mhm.
50s and 60s and stuff. But like Lenny Bruce
Did you ever see Lenny Bruce?
Well, that's one of the things I was going to say. When you're in New York, you know, and I'm assuming logic would say that's the time he was off Broadway, is when he was doing that. Anything that from New York? Anything from that time?
We
Well-
saw a lot of musicals.
Oh yeah, saw
Wow.
lots of musicals. Also, we used to go to Toots Shore's restaurant, which Toots Shore is dead now, but he had a wonderful restaurant, and we used to go there because Daddy and Toots Shore were very good friends, and
yeah.
we'd see all kinds of people in there. And you know, I mean, I'm talking about famous people, and they would always come over and talk to Daddy because they had like security men around us, so that if anybody got up and they started to come near us, they would, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they were somebody famous that Daddy knew, you know, that's where I really got to meet a lot of different people.
That's cool.
Like
And I
you were
really-
a baby and you were on John Wayne's lap.
Yeah, but that was in California.
Oh, I know. I'm
and we
just
were
saying in
little.
general. Like,
Yeah.
So like growing up, and I hear stories about that. Like, is she full of shit, or like, is that really true?
No, because I
'Cause
mean,
but they're all true.
my
so-
mom was my mom wasn't you know into well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say that my family has been involved in theater to a small extent up in New England, like Streetcar Company and that sort of thing, like a theater troupe that's up there. But my mom isn't necessarily super famous or related to anybody super famous, but she was in Burl Ives' lap at one point. So I mean, there's a little bit. You never know. You never know what goes on. But other than say New York, probably was probably a big one for you.
Oh, yeah.
But
And
where else would you say?
I just saw, I was reading American Magazine, which is a Jesuit publication, and it ran a story about this man who would bicycle all around the outside of New York, of Manhattan Island. And in it, there was a whole thing on Carl Schiltz Park, which was like what's the matter?
Oh, I see what it is. Your foot is touching the
don't-
mic stand. That's what
We have an extra special guest coming on. Come on, Izzy.
We have another guest.
Come on.
Izzy,
So my other daughter has been on the air.
Izzy,
Hello.
can you confirm whether or not you were the mascot for the '96 Olympics?
No.
You were not. Okay.
It was not you.
So we have somebody.
I really like Winky Box.
You like what?
I like Winky Box so much.
I don't know.
I like Winky Box.
Winky box?
Box?
Winky Box.
Linky Box.
What's
Okay.
that?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
that?
I don't know if anybody in the audience knows what Linky Box is.
It was Justin is the with the purple hair and
Oh, is this
Adam
something you
is-
watch? Is this something you watch on YouTube or
Don't be
something?
concerned if you
Yeah,
can't
it's
understand
on
her.
web.
We can't understand her
It's
either.
on YouTube. It's online.
There we
I'm
go.
glad you're here, Izzy, because I wanted to say that I apologize for not being able to afford us going to Hawaii. I'm very
Yeah.
sorry about that. I'm not going to be able to get. We're not going to be able to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, I know that, but I was thinking of the Aurora can come to our house.
Yes.
Right.
Jamie's daughter
So instead,
Aurora
go to
can-
Florida instead of Hawaii. That you'd be
Yeah.
okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Daddy, if you have more money, or Daddy has more money, Mom or
Nah.
Anna
Between the two of us, we'll work something out. We'll
Yeah.
try to work something
can
out.
have more money, then we can go to
All right.
Thank you, Izzy, for coming on.
Okay, bye, Izzy.
Thank you, Izzy.
Nope.
We'll try to get you in the rotation for your
Yeah.
own episode.
Yeah.
All right.
The only problem is you can't understand.
I know.
No,
I know.
that's
We need to
that
lock
makes
that
it more
door.
entertaining. No, I love it. I love it. No, absolutely not. Chaos. Bring it. So other than New York, where else would you say you enjoyed?
I enjoyed Florida. I actually enjoyed the Turks Caicos Islands, except that I was promised when I went down there for a job, and then they had a change of government, and the head
wow.
of the health system was changed to the head of tourism, and the person that took over the mental health stuff, he didn't know anything about me. So here I had moved with my son and all my
So
possessions.
Big
what did the
move.
contract that you had signed? What did that say?
No, there was no contract.
Oh, so you moved to another country without a contract for employment?
Handshake agreement? Kind
Yeah.
of a thing?
Oh, well, hindsight's 2020. I probably shouldn't have done that, huh?
But the guy who that was the minister of health down there, he was very sincere. I mean, he did not change jobs because he wanted to. He was just reassigned,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of really good ideas. And I was going to be able to bring those to fruition. But once they got this other guy in there, it all fell apart.
Well,
Or it was a giant scam to bilk you out of money.
But the other thing is, I love to scuba dive, and
How many times did you scuba dive when you lived there?
Oh, all the time.
No, you
'Cause
didn't.
I I went down
snorkeled.
there like 4 times.
No, before we
well,
moved.
snorkeling is
Before we moved, you
scuba
scuba
Yeah.
dived.
adjacent. She
Yeah, I
went,
mean, we would go down there for 2 weeks, and I would dive a couple of times every day. So we did do a lot of diving before
Beautiful,
we
beautiful
moved down.
diving. Until they blew up all the reefs so that they could get cruise ships in there.
Yeah.
The island's totally different now. Grand Turk doesn't look anything like it used to because they had to blow up all the coral to get the big giant cruise ships in there because they want the cruise ship money.
I haven't traveled at all.
No, it's fine.
Man,
you don't
you
need
get I'm loving Bonnie stories, and I'm sure you have a ton of
the
those.
Grand Turk though that ruined me on the beach because now it doesn't matter what
Right,
beach it is.
right.
I'm going to compare it to then, and
Yeah.
crystal clear water where you can just you could swim out. And
The
just,
Caribbean altogether. Like my stepmother was spent a lot of time in the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas in particular, and my uncle visited Aruba quite a bit, and
Isn't Aruba the one with the money?
I don't
isn't that-
remember.
Isn't Aruba really far north? Jamie, can you look that up?
I don't remember. Where's Jamie?
He's somewhere,
He's
doesn't he?
somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's Aruba's more for closer to South America.
No.
It
I
isn't?
can't. I geographically, I couldn't tell you the difference, but just that whole area.
Isn't that Beach Boys song?
Definitely, yeah, right. Definitely someplace that I would love to visit.
Isn't Kokomo not real?
Kokomo, I think, is a real place.
Okay, we'll find out.
I can't remember.
That,
Um,
and then I'd like to go to Costa Rica.
She was going to move there at one point.
And also Puerto Rico, like it's got some.
I would love to move to
great
Puerto
place,
Rico.
and it's a U.S. territory, so I don't think you need a passport even to go there.
You don't.
No.
But
So-
but there's a lot of places in Puerto Rico that you just can't go because it's not
Sure.
safe.
Sure.
It-
Sure.
I'm just not going to make these jokes. I'm sorry.
So you've been to New York and California. You said
Iowa.
Iowa. I
She's
wanted to say Idaho.
Dubuque.
Iowa.
Yeah,
Dubuque,
Dubuque,
Iowa.
Iowa.
You've been to Dubuque.
Yeah, she was
I
big
gotta.
there. She was very big in Dubuque.
We have a joke. We have a joke running about Dubuque. I'm trying to remember what it was.
It
There
was Mike Myers
was
basically
it-
said that, if you're big in Dubuque, that's it. You're good.
Yeah,
you
like
know.
you can go to all these big cities and stuff, Chicago and it's Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Dubuque, and mentioning a bunch of these places that you could go when you're big and famous and stuff, and that was kind of
Well,
fun.
Loris
Chicago.
College was in Dubuque.
Yeah.
And-
Chicago's another place she lived.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
my uncle was the head of the French department. My Aunt Claire was head of home economics. So
Nicole
the family.
quickly pointed out Elvis of Ocala was Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Not the Mike Myers.
No,
Yeah.
me and the other members of the Kings of Awesome said he looked like a mix between Don Ho and Elvis, so we started calling him Hovis,
Ovis.
just among
Yeah.
us.
Now, was that were we talking to him because you guys were going to play the Kid Rock concert? Was that what it was? And then he got busted for selling
Yeah.
tickets to a concert that didn't exist.
Yeah, he wanted to because we had an interest in this event. He wanted to
Check
he
you
wanted
out.
us to rehearse for not rehearse. What's the word
Audition.
I'm looking for? Audition.
Yeah, audition for him.
He wanted us to audition for him, and as soon as he heard us, he's like, "Oh, big plans, we got, stick with me, kid. You go places, kind of thing." And we're kind of like, "Yeah, all right." But yeah, he was a character. He was definitely a character, and yeah, he did. He got now.
He got arrested for swindling somebody out of money.
Well,
and that's why he went to jail.
if I
But
remember correctly, he would sell tickets with the promise of an act, and then he would his plan was to take the ticket money to pay the act. So the acts weren't contracted, or the acts weren't for sure there. He said, if you guys play this show, I'll pay you X amount of money. And he had no money, so he sold tickets, promising that these acts would show
Yeah.
up to the
I think he was going to pay you in tickets.
yeah.
I don't even think he was going to give you money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it was Kid Rock. Well, supposedly. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like that is a good show. You know, I mean, if you're going to have a bunch of rednecks come to a concert and see a Southern metal band, you know, like, okay, yeah.
It would have worked.
But we all knew he was full of shit.
Yeah.
So that didn't quite turn out that
Well, he's
way.
talking about the rings on his finger and all this stuff that he had and stuff, but he came in his mom's car. That was kind of funny. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk bad about anybody. Man.
No.
A character's a character.
No, he was quite the
There comes a certain point in time where you're just like, you know, that this guy is. I'm one of the people that you want in your life. That you want the guy that's going to yell at you throughout the whole show, and like just act a fool.
Go Godzilla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just drink too much and fall flat on his face right in the middle of the floor or something like that.
Did Bonnie
You want
ever
those
see
type of
you
people.
perform?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We're
Yeah, we used to
Probably
go over.
Ghost Riders.
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
All right. Just gonna say, I've seen you perform countless times, but thinking of how many times Bonnie's actually gone out. and
No,
seen
probably once, and that was enough, right? You were-
I enjoyed it.
Well,
Well,
most of the time you performed, it was late at night, and Bonnie's not, you know, a late at
Not a
night
night
kind of
person?
person.
Never been really.
When I lived with my father, I mean, we'd go out to El Morocco, different places, you know, and it would be at night. But after I was raising kids and working and stuff,
Oh,
like
sure.
now I'm normally in bed by about 9 o'clock.
Something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, like I was just saying, like with the traveling and stuff like that, your mind is different than your body. Like your mind wants to do X amount of things. Your body's like, slow down a minute.
Yes.
And so that's something that that even I'm learning at 50. You know that
Well, at 77, I'm learning it
yeah
real
yeah
fast.
yeah. That you just you think you can go and you want to go, but your body's like, nope.
Well,
Nix
Kenny
that.
Rogers, you got to know when to fold him. You know.
But Nicole's pretty good. Like I'll say, well, I got to do this, this, and this. And she'll say, okay, well, why don't you do this early and then come take a nap and then do some more in the afternoon, which is good advice.
Oh yeah, Bonnie will
She
try to
is-
be like. She'll try to be like, oh yeah, and then we're gonna go do this, and then we're gonna go do this, and then we're gonna have lunch, and then we're gonna go do 2 more things. Like, no, you're not. No. You need to do one of those things. Go have lunch, then do the second thing, and then come home.
Some people
Because
need
you're
that.
gonna
I feel that. I feel that.
You're
Some
gonna be
people.
so
Some people
beat.
need those people to organize their lives and help
Yeah.
them out. So, God bless Nicole for that. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
we're all very appreciative, Nicole. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here.
That's true. That's true. It's a good part.
Literally,
good part
we
of it.
wouldn't be in Knoxville. We wouldn't be in Tennessee.
like mother, like son.
Yeah, well, whatever.
even your wife's. No, I love this.
Busted chops,
we're
that's
all
fine.
picking on you. We're all taking turns.
It's all right. Well, Bonnie's watching her, looking at her
I
watch.
know.
Like she's got to go. I
Time
think
to
that's
go.
a sign. I think Bonnie, you were awesome.
That's a
Thank
great
you so much
exit.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
She's gonna scoot the chair all the way out.
I'm hoping.
No.
Nope, she didn't knock. I thought she'd knock the microphone one more time before she took it. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Today's adventures. Go, go, go. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So yeah, you
Word
were
to
talking to
your
me.
mother.
You were talking to me before about how your day's been going.
Yeah, we've been going all day, man. We had a really awesome. We went to the opening day of the Dixie Lee Farmers Market, which is out west, almost in Farragut, and then we went to a plant swap that was real close to the house, and then yeah, she's had some adventures. She hasn't. Yeah, we haven't even touched the surface, man. And it's like, she's getting so old where it's like we need to get these stories recorded because, I've heard them a bunch of times, but I can't
There we go.
I can't recall all the craziness and all the celebrities and because that's not who I am. I don't. I guess maybe if I was raised in California or New York or whatever, I'd be a little bit more metropolitan or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm an Ohio boy who got the hell out of there. Like
Yeah,
when I was
no,
old enough to have the decision, like, oh, do you want to come with me to move to Grand Turk? Okay. What's my alternative? I stay in Cleveland with my dad.
Well, as someone that spent the first 20 years of his life in the same town, and then the next 30 years of his life in the same town, You know, like 20 years in Belmont, Laconia, 30 years in Ocala. Now I'm in Knoxville. Like, I can speak to the other end of it, which is, you know, the count your blessings that you get a chance to have those experiences, and you know, I'm
I
on
kind of feel bad for people who've never left their hometown.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying they haven't had like successful careers.
and
'cause a lot of them
I'm on
have.
my own dime. If I want to go down the road, that's me
Yeah.
taking my own ass down the road. You know, it's even if it's private videos on YouTube.
Yeah, she said
Definitely
record. Yeah.
Record. I wish I would have had recorded more of my grandparents. Yeah.
I don't have like anything from my dad. I have a picture of him when he was dead, like when he was dead at his funeral.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But like, I don't have any video of my dad. He was never a big video guy. He likes taking pictures and stuff, but like we don't have shit. So the
Yeah.
fact that we have anything of my mom is good because we got plenty of stuff from like our cell phones and stuff like that, and like it recording and backed up. But
Yeah, my mom
more.
has collected a lot of photos. She has a ton of photo albums and VHS and stuff like that as well.
Massive collection
that
of VHS.
that she wants to go through. And I, as a personal thing for me, I just, you know, whatever I have on my phone.
Mhm.
I'm surprised I have some of the stuff on my phone that the folks have sent me.
I keep your memorabilia.
Yeah, really, really.
So
Nope.
where'd you get that? It was Matt's.
Yeah.
Why did Matt get rid of it? Matt lives in a van.
I was so
Matt doesn't have room for stuff.
I was so surprised because I was asking you about CDs for a coworker that wanted something while he
Oh,
was driving
yeah, I
around
didn't-
doing deliveries, and I actually found one in my van.
Oh, you did?
So I
Good.
ended up getting it to him. But keep him in check, Ben. Keep me in check.
Trying to.
Oh, all right.
You really just have to encourage Matt because you can't make Matt do anything. If Matt doesn't feel like doing something, Matt's not going to do it. So
It's one of the
you
things
just
I
have to encourage him. Way
one
to
of-
go, buddy!
One of the things I pride myself on is that I'm kind of a rock in that sense, for better or for worse. That's who I am. But yeah,
So did he like the CD?
I haven't heard back from him as far as that's concerned. He loved the back cover when I handed it to him. He read it and he's like kicking the dick. He thought that was.
Did you
he
tell
thought
him
that
it was like
a trip.
$10? Can I have my $10?
No,
please?
I said pay whatever you want.
Yeah. I mean, it really was amazing that, you know, back in the day, I don't know how much CDs cost now, but like you guys got like 1,000 CDs for like $1,000 or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was amazing that
Pro
CDs
quality.
were
I was
that
really happy
cheap.
with it.
Yeah.
I was really happy with the quality of the CD, the way it looked, and the artwork and everything. All this the way I put it together, and they you know, it was like that's a legit, like that's
Mhm.
any band that you could think of that I'd gotten before in my whole life. That's that sort of quality of the recordings. Now that I try to check them out every now and then, I'm just never going to be happy with the sounds. Like
Even off your CD?
the live show was great, but anything recorded, I'm just not happy with. And little things too, like
It was garbage.
too much silence at the beginning of the track.
Mhm.
Like when I think about hitting play on a CD, it goes right into the song. And even if it's like 1 second too much, I notice it and I'm like, I don't like it. Or
Yeah.
there should have been a cymbal count
Do
in here.
you remember Lex and Terry? Do you
Yeah.
remember those guys? That, I mean, they were national or whatever, but
Mhm.
they had like a band show, and I remember Getting Deep had sent one of their songs for Lex and Terry to listen to, and it was one of those songs where like it had a really long instrumental intro to the
Mhm.
song, and like they didn't even get to the part where they started singing, and they were just like, "We're like this song sucks."
I was thinking it
You
was
know.
Bubba the Love Sponge, but I guess it might have been Lex and
No, it was
Terry
Lex and
that they
Terry,
sent it to.
Yeah.
They sent.
And they were friends with Lex and Terry too, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we made fun of you."
They just rag on everybody.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Because I think Casey might have been the one that sent in Pride, the King song,
Yeah.
and they're like, this guy sounds like a Cookie Monster lyrics and stuff like Cookie Monster vocals or whatever, like all those other bands. And I'm
No,
like,
you
what?
weren't.
Like,
no.
that was one of those moments where you see somebody a certain way, and then they just open their mouth and they say something. And you're like,
Mhm.
oh, you're full of shit. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, you don't matter at all. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Some people with their position in radio or wherever.
I remember when we went to the local classic rock station and we bought ad time for one of our concert, or I don't remember what it was exactly, but we asked them too. We're like, who actually picks the music that you guys play? And they're like, oh, it's all done by like research, and like it's somewhere in the Midwest where they like say a song or play a song. You're like, how does that song make you feel? Like, how would you rate that song? And you're like, wait a minute. So like some old lady in the Midwest is picking what songs you guys play here in Central Florida on your classic rock station. You're like, yeah, everybody does it. I'm like, what? Like, no wonder your station sucks.
Yep.
Like, no.
It's one of the reasons that I stopped
Listening
wanting
to
to
the
be
radio.
one stopped listening to the radio, sure, but also stopped wanting to be a DJ because I'm like you hear about you spend time around the radio
Charlie McGraw?
industry.
Was that his name, Charlie McGraw?
Charlie McGraw.
Yeah, he was like the only local DJ that was decent. Like,
Yep.
You know,
I talked to him a couple times, and that's one of the things he said. He's like, "Nah, you don't want to do that."
no,
he's like,
don't ruin it.
he's like, it's a job. It's just like any other job. He says you might as well be
Yeah.
flipping burgers.
Well, you know what's interesting though is we do have a really awesome radio station here in here in Knoxville. It's like 90.3 maybe
Mhm.
WUTK.
I don't listen to radio at all, so I wouldn't know.
They have so many different shows, and they're always asking for people. So maybe in the future, maybe we could do, because I know you would love to actually be able to pick music out and play music and talk.
Yeah,
and-
consider this my resume right here, part of my resume. I'll submit this to them. And be like, if you want to hear what I sound like, if you want to hear, what kind of work I do.
And you could totally talk up the songs, but they don't really do
Absolutely.
that per se. It's more like, you pick what songs you want to play, and you produce your show, and then they'll play it. Or you could do it live there too.
If and they pay for the BMI or ASCAP or whatever
Yeah.
in order to, I'm there. I'm down with
Yeah.
that. Down like
So
a
we'll
clown.
we'll look more into that. I know they have like a jam band show, and they have different stuff like that. I know they have like rap and punk and
I am so much.
everything.
I am so much into the cheesy 70s, 80s.
the yacht rock.
Soft rock, yacht rock, yeah, absolutely. That's my jam, and it's radio friendly stuff. It's work friendly stuff.
We talked about doing some karaoke shows. I think that'd be pretty funny. Me versus you, and just
We have
but we have to stack the
we
deck
have
in
the
my
screen
favor
set up
somehow.
right here. We could do you versus me and have
Yeah.
have that.
But
right
we
in
have
the
to have
middle.
a handicap or something. Or you know what we can do? We can have auto tune on me, so it's not that it's gonna be fair.
No,
but
it's
like what unfair advantage can I have?
3 songs. The
Yeah.
other person picks the 3 songs, and
But
I'll be nice. I'll be nice, and you will butcher me. You will
Yeah.
absolutely set me up for slaughter.
no,
absolutely.
I'd actually pick songs that I think you do really well with, but still lose. That's fine. Yeah.
Well, you'll rig it somehow. We'll rig it so I lose somehow.
Did we talk about public access? Did we do that? Did we talk about that on
with
Wednesday?
Carrie, I think we talked to him for a second about it.
Okay.
But
All right. So I still want to do that, guys. I still want to go down. Matt and I both are going to do a field trip, and we'll shoot some footage, and we're going to go down there. We're going to find out what will it actually take for us to be able to get some airtime on the public access, and then they stream it, or not stream. I'm sorry, they broadcast it to 4 different networks. So it's like like Comcast and like DirecTV. Like they actually like stream the show to like major where there's thousands of people. I mean, I know thousands of people can watch us now, but I think it'd be awesome.
what do you guys think? Everybody in chat, let me hear from you. See what you
Should
guys think.
we take our show down to public access, like Wayne's World, and like do?
Yeah, I
full
wonder
Wayne's
if I
World?
can. I wonder if I can put that up as a poll.
Oh yeah, right.
Give it just a
I
second.
don't know. I think all 4 people are gonna say yes. You're gonna
Hold on a second. I gotta block the screen so
Yeah.
I can pull this up here. Use our
Why
technology.
not? Especially if it's not gonna cost us anything.
Can I do that? Can I put up a poll? Or you guys?
Jody says yes.
Jody's still on board.
Jenna
with
says
this? Yeah.
yes. Jamie has
poll.
yet to respond. So
See, where should we go next?
I thought about trying to get a job with Discovery, and then just like maybe insert links to our show into Discovery signal on their satellite. Uh-oh. Nicole's not going to come on. She's not dressed for the show.
What did you want as a response? Because I heard something, but I have it blocking down.
As far as
Oh, should we try to get on the public access? Yeah, that's what I figured. Like, what's it gonna hurt? Well, or they're gonna tell us no. Like Matt and I haven't been told no.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me to hear the word
No.
no. Just means all right. Well, we'll try something
What
else.
was
All
all
right.
that?
So let's do this. Let's see if that works. Creating a poll. You guys tell me if you guys see this. Oh, not published. Okay, so what do I need to do? I saved it. Recent poll create. Where should we go? Okay. Activate poll. That's what I meant to do. Activate poll.
There we go.
Is it showing up anywhere?
Yeah. It's there. I see it. Thanks for voting. I like that. That's pretty cool. Especially if we had that like pre-ready or whatever.
Oh, that just popped up for me as well.
Yeah.
So try that.
You can update your
Voting
vote here.
failed. Why did it fail? Is it because I'm broadcasting too?
Can't pick all of the above. Yeah, well, whatever. The one that you think the best.
That's just to see how it would work. So we
Yeah.
got 2 responses for public access.
I would like to do more live on the scene stuff with Matt. We can definitely get we can get a small portable rig and we can go and we can go downtown, go to the old city, go places and
There's-
talk to people.
There's a whole new
Man on the street.
world. There's a whole city for us to go and mess around in. Now that we have this part pretty much settled, that we know how to get the show going,
Yeah.
and then we just got to get you have a small portable rig, aka Matt's van. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna need to figure out some fundraising the options right there in order to get the
We'll get something going. Because even if it's moving the OBS install onto a laptop and then rigging the laptop up to my phone for hotspot, we'll be able to do something. And then we're doing so many live events now with the other groups that we need to have a portable rig
Mhm.
that we can at the very least record the content of our live events and then have the streaming as an option.
Mm-hmm.
But most places, like last event we did, Nicole recorded it, and the damn phone shut off because it got too hot, which is weird. But we weren't even trying to stream it; we were just recording it. So I can only imagine what would have been if we were trying to stream.
There's some kind of symbol there. What's that symbol? Hold on 1 second.
Mhm.
I'm seeing something on my screen.
Uh-huh.
Do you see anything by their names like on your when you look at your Facebook? Because there's something next to.
I see clapping. Oh, the number?
Is that a number?
Yeah, that's the number of viewers they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see. I knew there's some sort of logo
Mm-hmm.
next to their. Next
As
to
if
their
they
name,
do
I couldn't
something.
tell.
Yeah.
This Facebook is an interesting one, and I'm kind of digging it to have the dashboard up. I can't really do anything as far as check out, because I think that was the thing that was messing up the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-show thing was I opened up another window.
It's a follower icon, Genesis.
A follower icon. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was looking at something else in another window, and I think that's what caused it to freeze up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of the things we may have to figure out is a faster or additional computer, some sort. Maybe get the laptop in here. I got to figure out some sort of deal that where I can run something without having to run it on the same computer as.
That's what Andrew suggested.
Yeah.
He said absolutely what we need to do is stop using the same computer to stream and do everything.
Yeah.
So
Number
I agree.
5 anniversary follower.
Andrew's a very bright
Nice.
guy. I don't think he even realizes how much we refer to him on the show, because I asked him, I'm like, have you watched any of the shows? He's like, no. I'm like, well, we talk about you almost every show. So
I don't think people realize
how much we talk about
how much we are, like legit about appreciating our community.
Mhm.
Like that's the whole thing is not just Ben and I wanting fans or followers.
We want partners.
We want like a community is a bunch of people that work together that help each other.
And that's what 3231 is.
Yeah.
It's a community.
But I think, I could be wrong, but it seems it would be easy for me to assume that people think it's kind of just talk in a way, like it's everybody talks about our community and stuff, or like the word influencer gets thrown around a lot for anybody that goes on YouTube, but seriously, like our thing is to influence people. Our thing is to build a community of people, like legitimately, and so because of all the tarnish, the taint, if you will, that of other people, I know. Don't mess with the taint. I shouldn't mention the taint on Facebook. But
Next Wednesday, I won't be here. Just letting you know. And
I'll probably be running solo on the YouTube show.
All right. Well, we have somebody coming over Tuesday, but he's one of the ones that I invited over for dinner, but I didn't necessarily say we were going to interview him. So I got to double check.
We'll give him a tour. We'll give him you'll have him take a look at the studio and be like, hey, if you ever want to jump in.
Well, he's a really, really great person, a very interesting person who's done a lot of things.
We like that.
Yeah, exactly. So he would be a wonderful guest on the show. I'll talk to him. Maybe we'll do something Tuesday.
And I hear there's this young up and comer on TikTok that we might want to have as a guest as well. Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
On TikTok. If he's gonna be super famous,
almost 10,000 subscribers.
I think we should get him on the show.
It's just the fact that he's working. You know what? It'll be a lot easier to get him on the show is as soon as summer break kicks in, he goes to first shift.
Sure.
So he'll be able to join us like for real on a regular basis, more of a regular basis, and maybe appear on camera with us.
What's his excuse for tonight? What do you
Well,
think
it's the
he's got going on?
weekend.
Yeah.
It's the weekend, so his wife has to
Well, we're
take
not
up all of his time.
We're not asking for a lot. We're just asking for maybe an hour of his time.
Yeah.
But that's
Well, I mean, we can schedule that with him. I'm
Yeah.
sure. He sent me a text earlier, and I responded, and that was it.
for real. Love Jamie. Would love to have,
No,
love
no,
to have him on
absolutely.
board. That's a whole. We're in the year one, as I've talked to Ben offline, off the camera. We're in year one, or year zero, to be perfectly honest. Like, we're building the thing, we're making the thing happen. It's only been about
It's only
a
been
month.
10 years.
Yeah,
It's only been 10 years.
no, this has only been a month, and
Yeah,
we're
well, two.
throwing everything into this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the way I see a band is
Yeah.
like with a band you have you have one debut album, and now we're actually got to start somewhere. Exactly, Jenna. Where was I going with that? Yeah, a band has one debut album, and they could have 10 years to make that debut album, but once they make it. Like the next album is their sophomore album, and that may not necessarily have the same energy as it did. But we're right now we're building the debut album right here. This is us making this happen, and then we're only going.
We should have some cringe parties, and we should watch some of our old material.
Sure, or feature it on here. We'll do
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
A moment of cringe.
Yeah, especially that one where my favorite one is what is 3231, and it's you after you've freshly shaven your beard.
Oh.
And you're fucking Peter Griffin, and I'm just like all awkward, sitting in a chair, like leaning back and forth, and
We are not.
it's great.
Yeah, that's cringeworthy for sure. I was
Yeah.
gonna say we are not showing that, but yeah, absolutely. Yes,
But
we absolutely are.
anybody who follows the link can find it.
Yeah, no, we will. We
'Cause
will.
It's on yours. It's
We'll
on
show
one of
you.
your accounts.
I just I have to set it up so that we can watch it instead of trying to get to it now because I don't want to.
Oh no, we're not watching it now. No, I'm not ready for that. I've been made fun of enough.
Show results in video.
So are we doing public
does it-
access? We
does
doing
it show
radio? How are we?
I've
I've been made fun of
oh.
enough.
Show. I was
That's
trying to
cool.
hit. I was trying to hit
Oh,
the wrong
how we-
button. Nope. Hit the wrong button again.
Oh
Yep,
man,
done.
how are we doing that?
I'm looking at. Here we go. Oh, I can't do it. I'm looking at something on my screen.
Oh, okay.
And I see a circle with a little X in it, and I was trying to hit that, and the volume thing came up, so I got to stop clicking buttons. All right, we'll close the results. 67%, a whole whopping 2 votes for local public access.
There you go. So we'll go down there. We'll do our research.
We're
do
going
our
to do
due
everything.
diligence.
It was just messing around anyway.
Yeah,
But
we definitely can do that.
there we go. All right, I guess that's it for our episode.
Thank
The
you,
Mother's
everybody.
Day episode.
For our very first Mother's Day episode.
It was a success. I managed to make the audio work, although I forgot about
We did have
mom's
Bonnie
mic,
on. That's fine. I mean, I'm just glad Jody said something right away.
but it never goes smoothly. But it went
One
pretty
of
well.
these days.
Nah, never want it to go. I was hoping for a blackout. Ben mentioned that we've
We've had so
some
many
bad
power
weather.
outages lately. Yeah, with all this weather and trees, and we live on the side of a mountain.
But we look good. We sound good. We got it going. Couple bumps, but that happens. That's what life's all about, is
Mhm.
enjoying the speed bumps. But 3 viewers, 77 comments. We got some good. We got 3 shares. We're doing all right. Thank you guys very much for watching the show. We appreciate it. On the special Mother's Day edition of the Facebook Live broadcast. Should it still be Nomad Radio? Because we're not.
Yeah.
Should it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's still it's the same show. It's just on a different format.
It's just on a different network. That's all.
Jody, thank you for joining us. Jenna as well. David for joining us earlier on. Nicole and all of
And Izzy. Thank
all
you,
of
Izzy,
Ben's-
for
all of
stopping
Ben's
in.
family.
And if anybody else in Knoxville would like to appear on the show, give us a shout. We don't really have too high standards.
And one of the cool things about Facebook Live is this is going to stay on Facebook. So anybody that's watching the replay of this and wants to leave a comment, please do so.
Yeah.
We appreciate the feedback, whether it be live or otherwise.
And remote guests too. If you want to be a remote guest, we're fine with that.
Jenna, Jody, what do you guys think? Regular Facebook Saturday night show? Sound good?
What's the plan? We'll see.
Sounds good so far. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the reaction is. But for now, we're gonna call that an episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Positive thoughts for your mom's recovery. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate that.
Jody's becoming one of our #1 fans.
I appreciate that.
Now
very
we
much.
just need to get Manny and Bat Duck. Manny and Bat Duck.
I gotta meet Bat Duck.
Yeah.
That's a badass name.
It is. Manny is very funny. He was always been a very funny guy. I'm surprised he didn't get into comedy or writing for something. He was always super funny.
Would love to get him on board.
Well, blown smoke. Yeah.
So as always, we do want to remind you guys that we are all over the social medias, and I think there it is right here. Boom, like and subscribe, and get notified on our YouTube page. But also, a couple of shares now and then on Facebook would be kind of cool as well. But thank you very much for try that again. Thank you guys very much. He lives in Michigan now. He has 2 daughters.
Oh,
great.
awesome.
3
I can
daughters.
relate. I have 2 daughters as well.
Well, we thank you guys, and we hope that you enjoy your Mother's Day weekend. And like I said, just a reminder, go ahead and call your mother. She misses you.
Word to your mother.
Yep, exactly. But follow us if you haven't followed us yet. Please share the broadcast with your friends. Always nice to make new friends. And follow us all over social media at 3231. It's 3TWO3ONE. But we'll see you later. Have a great
Thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.